Good morning. Birds are singing. It's a nice day. It's still a little on the chilly side, and it's not too bad. But I'm gonna be doing a project. If you remember from a couple of videos ago, I did the lid, this big giant lid, for the Protapod. Well, I've come up with, I think, what would be another solution to making it so that lid will attach to the Protapod but not suffocate it, so the lid won't be sealed on top of the Protapod, but I have a way to attach it to make it stay on. So I'm going to try that today. It's going to be a couple of modifications to the Protapod, but I think it'll work. So I've got some of these wooden knobs. They're just regular wooden knobs from a cabinet. What I'm going to do is attach them through the Protapod so they'll be sticking out on the outside. And this is going to be an anchor point. And then I'm going to take some wood, just probably a 2x2, and I'll cut this in little sections, and then I'll attach a bungee cord to it, which will then bungee around the knob. And that will hold it down, but the wood, so I'm not going to need these legs anymore, so I'll take those off. But the wood will just be a barrier, and it'll just be a small block of wood attached to the top round part. So that'll hold it up off of the Protapod itself, providing plenty of gap all around for the flies to get in. And then it'll just be a section, 4 little sections of wood around the Protapod, which will then prevent the wind from taking the Protapod lid off, but still allowing air and flies to get in so they can lay their eggs. Then I'm going to try something with this stuff where I'm going to make some egg catchers, and I will cut a bunch of these and make it so they hang inside the Protapod. I don't know if I'll just hang them from the lid or how that'll work, but let's see what happens here. Okay, so I think I've actually come up with a little bit better solution. I'm trying to use things that I already have in my shop, so pieces and parts that I already have, so I don't have to spend any money on this project. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these bungee cords, I have 2 of them, and I'm going to cut them in half. And then I will mount the bungee cord to the piece of wood that's going to be attached to the coroplast. And then I'll have a bungee that'll go down, and I'll take these old hooks that I've had forever and I don't use. I have 4 of them. They're all different colors, so it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to use these hooks for the end of the bungee cord. So this will be mounted to the Protapod on the side of it, and then I can just bungee cord this down, and I've got it made like that. And so that'll keep it on. It'll keep it down, keep it from blowing away, and I don't have to weight it down, because I think that'll work just fine. It'll hold the lid down. It'll also make it easy to just undo 1 or 2 of the bungee cords and be able to lift the lid up, and it'll kind of act like a hinge and it won't blow off. You can put our scraps in there or whatever and move the food around. All the while the black soldier flies will be able to get in and get out with no problems. This is how I'll mount the bungee cord to the wood, just by using a screw with the bungee cord wrapped around the screw and fastened with safety wire. Now this harkens back to my aircraft mechanic days, and the way to do that is just to bend the bungee cord over, get a piece of safety wire or just a little piece of wire. You want it to be pretty strong wire because you're going to have to twist it. Basically, you got to make sure that the wire is able to be twisted. Now I'm using safety wire pliers, so they're a locking plier that locks closed once it grabs the wire. But as you can see, it twists this wire down there, and then I'll take that and I'll cut off the end of it. Cut off the end of it, and it leaves this little, what's called a pigtail out here. You just take that and you actually pigtail it back like this so you don't catch it on yourself or anything else. Then I just take one of these screws, place it through like that, and then just put it in the piece of wood. And now it's attached. So then when I go outside and mount it, I'll just have to mount this through the coroplast with these roofing screws that have a washer on them so it doesn't leak down in there. So I think that's a pretty simple solution. And I mean, the bungee cord doesn't have to be that strong, but I can stretch it out a little bit, but I don't have to stretch it out a lot, and it'll still, the idea is that it'll hold the roof on, the coroplast on, which is really light. Alright, so I'm out at the Protapod, and I've got the lid, which I'm just kind of place on the Protapod. And I may have to move it a little bit. It might be a little bit too close to that shed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it on there, and then kind of get it lined up where I think it should be, and then put my wooden blocks underneath it and the top and fasten them on. So that's a general idea. It'll be raised up off of the Protapod enough that it allows the flies to get in. There's plenty of space for them to get in, but it'll keep it covered. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my hooks, these hooks here. I'm going to put them in the bottom of the Protapod down near where the hooks are on the end of the bungee cords. And I'm going to drill a small hole in there, and then I can attach the hooks to it. They're just, and they have molly bolt attachments on the back of them. So there you go. That's what I think is a simple, elegant solution to a lid on my Protapod. I don't have to have a whole lot of extra stuff in there. I don't have to do anything. Now I'm going to work on the egg pods. One of the things that I was doing while I was in my shop making this, and I thought, how am I going to attach it? What am I going to do? How am I going to fix it? I thought, why am I over-engineering this? So that's one of the main problems with us, is we try and over-engineer things. So all I did was I stacked a few of them together. I cut some slits in the coroplast so I can have a little beam, and I'm just going to tape this to the bottom of the lid. Simple solution. So now I'll just take this lid and flip it back over and get it lined up as best I can, and there we have it. So it's not going to go away, it's not going to fly away, it's not going to blow away in the wind. It's covered so the Protapod will still stay mostly dry. If this does flex down a little bit, I don't think that it's going to be too much of a hassle. It's not going to hold too much water anyway. And then there's plenty of space for the flies to get in. And I think this is going to work out great. So that's it for this one. I think I fixed the Protapod lid issue. Thanks for watching and subscribing, and until next time, cheers.